Good morning, scale builders around the world. It's your boy Josh, aka Coleman, and you are now watching ScaleWars, ESP's official Battle of the Builders. What's going down, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Hope you're having a good start to your weekend. I know I'm having a great start to mine. We're back, man. Round two. This is I'm referring to this as season 2.5. So this would be episode 2 of season 2.5, even though it's not in the title or anything. Just behind the scenes. That's how I'm referring to it because this is the second episode where we are doing independent sponsorships, and this one is brought to you guys by the one and only Beef Tubes. Today's episode is officially brought to you guys by BeefTubes.com. If you're not familiar with Beef Tubes, I highly suggest checking them out. The link will be in the description below. Not only did they make today's episode possible, but I personally run Beef Tubes. They create a great line of products. I know Beef Tubes is kind of a funny name. It's the topic of a lot of funny conversations, but I assure you it is well placed. Beef Tubes are a component meant to go inside of your straight axle RC builds, whether it's a scale build or a comp-based build. You can get these beef tubes, install them into your axles. It makes them way more rigid, allows you to bolt plastic to metal as opposed to plastic, and it really holds the axle shaft in place. As most of you guys know, the majority of axles on the market nowadays that come from the factory are plastic, and even some upgraded axle housings are still plastic. And what that does is it allows play. It allows there to be some slop and wear over time that it basically creates failures. And these beef tubes eliminate all that and still allow you to run those plastic housings. Really, it's an amazing upgrade. Very, very well thought out, very simple, and very effective. So I highly suggest checking them out. Not only do they offer those, they have a wide variety of other products that they offer as well. Some really good upgrades, whether it's getting brass weight down low to increase performance or just some stronger, well thought out upgrades to help your build really succeed and move on to the next level. So that being said, just check them out, link in the description below. I'm a big fan myself. I've been running their products for a long time. Even my Kaiser J3000 has beef tubes in it, and those are aftermarket Team OT6 axle housings. So you might be surprised at the applications they build upgrades for it. All right, you guys, so we've got an epic lineup today. Definitely loving this. Last week we did Toyotas. This week we are doing Jeeps. We're going back to my roots. You guys all know my affinity for Jeeps. I love them. I own an old school 69 Kaiser, couple of Grand Cherokees, and I've owned a bunch of Grand Cherokees, actually. I got a thing for Grand Cherokees. I don't know why, but I am a Jeep fanatic. There's not a Jeep out there I don't like pre-1998. So, that being said, you already know what it is. Let's check out what we got lined up for today. I'll see you guys on the battleground. Let's do this. All right, you guys, welcome back to the battleground. It is about to go down. Now, first up, we have this build submitted to us by a gentleman named Jerome Brown. Now, Jerome is out of Moreno Valley, California, right here in the United States. He is 17 years of age. Says he's been subscribed to ESP for an unknown amount of time, but he's been watching for a long time. Now, he says he started building RCs back in 2007, and the build that we're looking at right here he calls Blue Devil. And the detail part and paint list goes like this. Started as a SCX-10 Honcho, then he added a Jeep, or a New Bright Jeep JK body, obviously in blue. Proline beadlock wheels in 2.2 size, also Proline 2.2 Super Swampers. Axial SCX-10 plastic Poison Spider fenders. Jeep JK mirrors, and Jeep JK roll cage, all from Axial. He also has the Axial factory rear drive shaft, MIP front drive shaft, Axial Wraith AR60 axles with stock Axial Wraith shocks, and no springs. Interesting. Okay, so he's basically running a droop setup there for the most part. Now, stretched front to fit right on the body, and he says RC four-wheel drive Stinger bumper with worn winch, RC four-wheel drive high lift jack, RC four-wheel drive Baja design LED pods, RC four-wheel drive 6-inch LED KC light bar, Vanquish Jeep JK light bar brackets, Axial 55 turn motor, Spectrum receiver, AE5 ESC high-tech HS645 MG servo, Axial Wraith upper arms, SSD scale transmission, Amazon LED lights, Proline accessories, RC four-wheel drive rear bumper with tire carrier, runs on a 5200 milliamp 2S LiPo battery. He has a custom exhaust, custom fan mount and grill. He says it used to be a 1.9 rig and recently made it into a 2.2 rig. Now the build classification on this is obviously a trail truck, albeit a large trail truck, but a trail truck. And he says on a scale of 1 to 10, he's going to go ahead and rate this a 4. Now, as far as who he would like to give a shout out to, he says, I would like to give a shout out to my parents and my dad for helping me fund and build this rig, and give a shout out to my friends Kyle and Austin who got me back into this amazing hobby. He says, and to the products I used on my rig, RC four-wheel drive, KC highlights, Vanquish products, Warren Proline, Axial, Baja Designs, High Lift, Gearhead RC, Poison Spider, Spectrum, MIP, SSD, and High Tech. Now, and I think that is everything, correct? Yes, so that being said, you guys have had a chance to kind of look at this now. I'm going to kind of glance it over here. He did actually submit a picture of it in 1.9 form as well, so we can do a little comparison. Personally, well, you guys know at this point, basically what I like to do is ask you to go ahead and give your feedback. Jump in the comments down below, and what we do is make this a community effort. I almost skipped this part, unfortunately. I was getting a little ahead of myself, but we make this a community effort. I like for everyone to give feedback, whether you're a pro builder or you're new to this and you just want to give your opinion. There's room for everybody. The one rule we have is to keep it positive. You can tell somebody that you would like to see something improved or changed without being rude. So if you can't do that, then just you really don't need to be here. Basically, the goal here is to help build up the Scale community as a whole. Whether you are new to this or you are a pro, there's always a next level. And the goal with this show is to help everybody find that next level. And it takes an army to do that. So it's not about me, it's about you guys. I provide a spotlight, I provide a foundation, a base, a platform for you guys to show off your builds, and that's what we're doing today. So my first impression is gonna be, it's aggressive, man. It reminds me of a Mad Ram 11 video. It looks like something that was originally a factory JK and they just built it to just go anywhere. You know, go hill killing or trail riding, mud bogging, rock crawling, just kind of a do-it-all rig. Definitely a beast. I like it. Honestly, I like it. It looks beat up, and I like that as well. The fitment on the top looks a little wonky up here. Not sure what's going on with that, but I would have liked to see that trimmed down so that it would fit properly. I'm assuming it's because you have the cage work going on in there, so I don't know what you could do different. I'd have to see it without the top on, but I like the light pods. I like the high lift jack placement. I love the rock sliders, look great. Everything looks beast, man. It really does look beast, and this is kind of proof that AR60s look pretty good under a JK, even on 2.2s. Very large, but also, you know, looks good. Let's keep it moving. And here's the 1.9 version of it, and I'm not going to lie, I do like this better. I would have liked to see you continue to build off of this. I mean, for me personally, I just think it looks wicked. I need to find me another one of these bodies myself. I still have one, but it's kind of beat up, so I kind of like to find another one here at some point. Looks really good, man. I really do like it. And it does look like it's kind of the cage that's popping that up. So here's the front end here. A closer look, and it kind of looks like that winch isn't in use for some reason. I would like to see some shackles hanging down here. I'd like to see an actual hook out here, maybe some winch gear. And if it's not going to be in use, I'd like to see it inside of one of the worn winch covers. Would look really nice. Another thing that I'm noticing here, I'd like to see some inner fenders. Now it does look like you're using this as an access point for your battery plug, so you can plug it in or plug it on and off here, but I know that can always be routed elsewhere. So I would like to see some inner fenders here, maybe making the hood pop open so that you can access the battery that way would be an option. Just a thought. Also some axle upgrades down the line could always be used. Not really that these aren't strong. I know from my own personal experience that factory rate axles are super strong. But getting some disc brakes in here would be really cool. Getting some, I don't know, it actually looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, it does look pretty good how it is. The AR60s are fairly scale axles out of the box, but it would be cool to see like some scale hardware on here instead of the regular hardware if you're looking to add, you know, some more scale appearance. I would shave this screw down right here. I know this can grab on things, including on tires if they get pushed over too far. So I'd shave that down. You may not have experienced that yet, but it can happen. Yeah, it's a good looking rig, man. Other than that, I mean, what else is there to add, really? It's beat up, so I mean, I can see why you don't have your light covers or the, you know, the lens covers on here for the blinkers. But that one's even busted out. But this is a trail rig. It looks like it's literally a strictly you know, weekend warrior only trail type rig, you know, trailer to the trail type rig. Interior, very bland, basic. I know from owning these that you didn't do anything to that. So personally, I would like to see you take the time to paint this all up properly, add some scale detail, get some keys dangling down there, paint up the gauges here and make them look proper, put some lighting in maybe behind there, put some lighting in the center console, make it look like the you know, like the stereo's lit up. Paint this all up, you know, and maybe make it dirty, make it aged, make it look like it's been out on the trail, you know, put some mud splatter in there and stuff like that. I mean, that would be a really nice touch. And also a driver, obviously. Here's the underside shot. Let's go ahead and take a peek here. It's looking pretty good. Looks like that SSD transmission is proper. I'd love to see a scale motor cover, obviously, so that we don't just see the 55 turn motor under there, you know, attached to that transmission. Now, to be 100% fair, that's really not unrealistic though, because nowadays I know from working on electric cars myself, real 1.1 electric cars, that you can, and from being around plenty of them, that's essentially what it is nowadays, is an electric brushed motor and an adapter plate to a transmission. Now you can skip the transmission if you want to and run direct drive, but some folks actually do run it with an adapter plate directly to a transmission where you can still use your 5-speed transmission. So I mean, to be honest, that's not really not scale. It's actually very scale. I just don't think you would see this type of sticker stuff going on there. So some wheel wells, like I was saying earlier, that would definitely benefit you. What else? It sounds like somebody's walking right outside my window here. So, yeah, it definitely sounds like somebody's right outside, but apparently there's not. But another thing you could do here is add just Axial has the factory they have their inner fenders, and they're attached front and rear, so to run the full length of this. And you can get those, and if they don't fit perfectly, you cut it in the center and then put it where you need it to be, and then just fill the gap. And it's just a good upgrade, a good simple upgrade. I see your exhaust there. That's pretty cool. I'd like to see that exhaust extended all the way over here to where you don't see it anymore. It just kind of comes in here and disappears. That'd be kind of cool, because I can see the cutoff point there, which is kind of funky. Also, what else could you do? It looks pretty good. Getting a scale gas tank kind of under here would be an upgrade you could do. But honestly, it looks pretty nice, man. Good job. Good work. Excuse me. Also, while we're under here, let's look at this wiring. I would also say hide some of this wiring a little bit better. Basically, you know, just getting them sheathed up, right? Getting some form of wire loom on there is really the way to go, if you ask me. And there's a bunch of different options when it comes to that. So just getting some form of black wire loom and getting all the wires inside of a wire loom really cleans the whole thing up, and just makes a world of a difference. Some rock lights would also be a nice touch. I mean, this thing is beast, so getting rock lights under there, even adding a little bit of colored underglow, as funky as that sounds, wouldn't be so far off from realistic, because you do see that on the trail sometimes with things built to this magnitude. So yeah, here we go. I want to see how that cage looked in there. I like that you wrapped it. That's pretty cool. Fairly realistic too. It's not quite the proper material, but you know, it shows that you put the effort there, and I like that. You did throw a couple scale accessories in there, so there's some effort there. However, when you have a full interior like this and all this room, I mean, to not go ham on this and really paint this all up, detail it out, you know, it just doesn't make sense to me. So I would love to see you put some more effort into getting this interior really dialed in. You could do so much with this. I know, because I've done it. I'm curious what that switch is for. Maybe lights. Good looking rig though, man. There it is, flexing out. Some hubs. Definitely need scale hubs. Mandatory. Get those on there. Still got his mirrors. Whoop, tripped out there. It's looking good, man. I like that. Ooh, I like that. It looks like one of those wordy made ones almost. Let's keep it moving. Here it is in the backyard. It looks like doing work on the rocks, or on the bricks, or whatever you got. I dig it, man. It's a cool looking rig. You know, it reminds me kind of like a cop 4x4 type build, you know. Just one of those big beast rigs. Really low, really wide, really big tires. Like if the top was chopped, definitely. Another interior shot. You know, I already touched on the interior. Basically, it just needs painted up. You know, it's really it. It's, I mean, fairly bland. So there it is on the side, looking good. The one thing I would say he definitely needs to add here would be some ESP stickers. Shameless plug. I like it though, bro. You did a good job with this. Definitely a cool build. I hope to see more of this type of stuff. I would like to see you resubmit it after touching up a few things, maybe fix the top up here. You know, give it an actual paint job. I can tell that you never painted it, so I'd like to see you, you know, mask it all up, sand it down, paint it, bring it back to life. You could really make this a cool, show-worthy rig, and then go out and beat it all up all over again. Oh, there he is. And you know what? I already forgot he's only 17 years old. So my hat's off to you, man. 17 years old, you're doing a really good job here. It's just a great job. For those of you forgetting his name, this is Jerome Brown right here. I gotta show some love to Jerome Brown. Big thank you, sir. Your Jeep is a beast. If you guys would like to submit your build, you already know what to do. Head on over to the website, www.extremescaleperformance.com. The link is always in the description down below. And basically, just follow the rules and regulations. You slide on over the ScaleWars tab. Everything you need to know is right there. You can sign up. You can follow the score. You can see what everybody gets on each episode as far as scores. You can read the rules and regulations and all that stuff. Submit your pictures. And yeah, just a reminder, all makes and models are now accepted. So that being said, big thank you to Jerome. And we're going to move on to our next contestant. Let's do this. All right, you guys, we're on to our second entry of the day here. This one's submitted to us by a gentleman named Stephen Williamson. Stephen is out of Turlock, California, also here in the United States. Well, this is the second California today, and he is 20 years of age, also fairly young. Now, this gentleman subscribed to ESP, he says, a few months ago. So, he's fairly new around here. Welcome to the family, man. Glad to have you. Thank you for submitting your build and participating. I appreciate it. Looks like he started building RCs back, about 7 years ago, and he says that this project we're looking at right here, he calls it the White Girl. Now, detail part and paint list on this build goes like this. It's an Axial SCX-10 kit with the Tekin FXR 35-turn motor, titanium gear, high-tech servo, full metal front bumper, the hard-body Jeep Comanche with a custom fab-built cage in the bed, made all out of stainless steel. He says got a set of 2.2 SSD Assassin wheels stretched into some Proline 1.9 XL Super Swamper tires.
which was not easy to do, he says. Got the hot racing shock hoops and Vanquish incision axle shafts, and the build classification on this, obviously trail truck. On a scale of 1 to 10, he rates this build a 6, and as far as who he would like to give a shout out to, he says, I'd like to give a shout out to my dad for back in the day getting me my first, the OG AX10 to crawl with and get me into the hobby, and also want to shout out Vanquish SSD, Amazon, LOL, and most of all, Axial and ESP for the great community that you guys bring along. Thanks, Coleman, for the awesome episodes. First off, thank you, man. I appreciate you including me in your shout out, and also thank you for participating. Like I said earlier, it really does mean a lot to me. It takes an army. You know, it's not all about me. ESP is about the community, and it's about growing the community. Yes, the channel is about my lifestyle and about me expressing what I do, but a big part of my lifestyle and what I do is the Scale RC community. So this series is dedicated to giving back to that community. So, thank you. We appreciate you, Steven. Now, that being said, let's go ahead and dig into this a little bit. You guys already know what to do first. Jump in the comments below and give this man some feedback, whether it be things you would like to see improved, things you're impressed with. That does not matter. Just jump in there and give that feedback. The only rule we have, like I said earlier, is no negativity, man. If you can't tell somebody how to improve something or give some advice or say that you're not a fan of a certain thing that they may have done without being rude, then obviously this is not the place for you. So, my first impression is I think this is pretty slick, man. It's very original. It's an original look. I like the body. First thing, though, that's bothering me about this body, and I've looked into this before, and it's part of why I don't have this body just yet, is the fact that they didn't do the B-pillars correctly, all right? The B-pillar, it's supposed to have vents on the side back here, and there's none. It's not the correct width. And that kind of bugs me a little bit, and I know they probably did that to avoid, like, I don't know, licensing issues or something, copyright issues, but yeah, it kind of bothers me a little bit, but that's out of his hands. I mean, yes, he could always go in and chop this thing all up and add that detail to it, but as it sits, I gotta say, fairly impressed with this. I like it. Another thing that's really bothering me right out the gate is the fact that you didn't paint it, and I can tell you didn't paint it because there's places where there should be paint that there's not. All right, and I'll get more into that here in just a minute. But things I do like is I love your wheel and tire combination. Normally, I do not like stretch 1.9s over a 2.2 wheel. I did that myself back in the day, and I used to like it, and I actually did it with the same tires, I believe. But I just something about it doesn't sit right with me normally, and you pulled it off. It actually looks pretty nice. I don't know if that's because it's the XLs and it has more sidewall or what, but it actually looks really nice. So props on getting that accomplished, sir. I also really like these SSD wheels. These are probably some of my favorites from them. Mandatory though, get some disc brakes and some scale hubs. I mean, just mandatory. Everybody knows I'm going to say that when I look at these builds. So definitely get that done, especially on something like this. It's just a good looking build. Now, as far as the rest of it, it looks pretty nice, man. Looks like you got some interior action going on. Love the roll bars in the back. You took the fenders off or didn't use the fenders and then just filled them in with hardware. Not so sure how I feel about that. Honestly, I think it would look better if you would have just filled those in with a little bit of plaster and sanded them down and then painted this whole body up. And that's what I was going to get at next. Is I can tell it was never painted because anywhere there should be black, like inside of, you know, the grill here, or, you know, around the edges of the window sills, right, places like that, those areas should be painted black, and that would give it way more of a realistic look, right? Now, having the rest of it all white or just keeping it white, there's nothing wrong with that, but the areas that should be painted black, I feel you should do that. And I feel that if you're going to leave it white, then just paint it white. You know, go over it, paint it white, do it properly, you know, give it a nice gloss coat over the, you know, over the white, and keep it right, you know, do it right. And that's how I feel about that when it comes to paint. And I know how frustrating it can be because I also hate doing paint. It is one of my least favorite parts of doing a build, and that's because I'm not very good at painting. I'll admit it, but it's mandatory, man. Interior. Okay, so that's what you did. He did what looks like maybe the Proline interior, the JK interior. I forget. I think he said on here, but where does he say? Actually, did he not say? He doesn't say where that interior came from. Or it is. I'm pretty sure it's the Proline interior. Maybe like the Proline Cherokee interior, which it looks like the sticker fell off the steering wheel there a little bit. But yeah, it works. You know, it works. I'm not gonna hate on it. I would like to see a full 3D interior. Obviously, you guys know me. I'd also like to see your door handle put back on there. Looks like it might have taken a spill though. Looks like it's taken after a nice roll. That cage in the back's pretty cool. I don't know why it keeps wigging out like that. This cage back here is pretty cool. I like that. A toolbox would be a nice addition back here. Getting a toolbox in there. What else could you do? Maybe throwing a spare tire in the back or something. Not really mandatory though, but the toolbox would definitely be a nice touch. Get some cans and put back there and put them on some really, really thin fishing wire, and it'll look like they're rolling around in the bed, but they won't actually fall out of the bed. Just a little trick there. I think I learned that a long time ago from my buddy Ray Wallace, if I remember right. Let's keep it going. Other side there, same thing. No mirror, no door handles, no paint. The keyhole should be painted up. The edge of these should be painted black. Just definitely something I would put some time into. Underside there, really clean, very basic, not a lot of stuff going on. In real life, I believe the rear end on these is leaf sprung, so I'd love to see the rear end leaf sprung on this. I'm currently building a leaf sprung Cherokee myself, so I know it can be a little tricky, but it also can be done, so I'd like to see that done. Something that's looking a little funky to me right here is this, and that is your body mounting system in the back. It's fairly common knowledge that the axial chassis comes up short for a lot of bodies, especially in the rear. And so people use a lot of these extension plates and stuff to mount the bodies. I do it too sometimes. But this one's looking way, 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 way off here. It's looking way over, and I would love to know why that is. I don't feel that should be like that. You can clearly see the gap right there. Now, something tells me it may not even be on straight because of that. And if you look here, you can see the width here versus the width over here, and it kind of looks like, and then over here, I don't know, it kind of looks like things are a little funky. So I'd take the time to put some extra effort into the getting the body mounted correctly there. I know that you can get some RC4-wheel drive extensions that actually do extend this chassis and allow for a winch mount as well. There's a winch mounting position back there, so something you can do. Another thing you can do is get a Wordy made rear bumper mount system. They work really good as well. I've used those to extend the chassis. Other than that, it's clean, no wires, which is nice. You could paint up underneath here, paint a lot of this black, get the inner fenders front and rear, or just go with the axial. You know, it's like a body tray or like a floor pan type thing that bolts to this and covers all of that stuff. Yeah, but you're off to a good start. Definitely room for improvement though. And same back here. You got the tail lights in, looking good. It looks like you didn't put a lot of these little pieces on that are supposed to be on there too. I'm curious what that's about. Put the Proline sticker on there. I would get rid of the Proline sticker and really, really get into the scale detail and finishing up this body. It's very unfinished, and I'm not trying to beat you up on that. I know I'm really, really driving that point home, but it's something that I was guilty of myself back in the day, is just getting ahead of yourself. It's really hard to sit there and stare at something that's 60% complete and drivable. You know, you can take it out, put a battery in it, and just take it out and drive it. it's hard not to do that and to sit there and continue working on it when you know you can go have fun with it. But I implore all of you, I highly suggest that you take the time to finish out those builds. You will enjoy it so much more. Trust me on that. See, that's what I mean, like the hood vents are missing here. If you're not going to run them, I would say just go ahead and fill that in, you know, some styrene. Sand it down. You got the windshield wipers on though. That's a good start. Also up here with the roof line, that needs to be filled in. I would fill that with some plaster. Testers make some. I use it a lot. I think we've touched on the majority of stuff for this. I think you guys get the idea here. I'm also noticing there's no lights in any of these pods, so I'd like to see some actual lights inside of there. And a winch would definitely help out as well. You can see the gap right here, so getting the body a little lower would help out. Just my personal opinion, my personal thoughts. So there's Steve himself. I don't know, do you go by Steven or do you go by Steve? You let me know, brother. This is his proof shot. That is his build. Thank you for including all the correct photos. I appreciate that, sir. Honestly, it's a pretty dope build, man, and I'm sure this thing's fun as heck to drive. I feel that the things that I touched on would greatly improve this build and would make you feel that it is so much more realistic, so much more enjoyable, and also so much more model grade. And while a lot of people feel that going that far into it makes you not want to drive it and turns it into a shelf queen, I beg to differ. I like to build mine up to basically be shelf queens, and then I take them off of the shelf and beat the holy snot out of them on the trail. And I attempt to drive realistically, but you guys know how it is. They're toys. So eventually you wind up having fun and things get broke, and that's all part of it. You just fix it up just like you would a real car. Patch it and paint it and get it back on the trail. So anyways, thank you very much, Steven. You already know what to do. You guys jump in the comments down below. Give this man some feedback. Let him know what you think. If you'd like to see what he got for a score, head on over to the website. If you would like to enter your build and get a score of your own, head on over to the website. The link is in the description down below. www.extremescaleperformance.com. Slide on over to the ScaleWars tab. Everything you need to know and do to get your build on the show is right there. So that being said, thank you, Steven. I appreciate your participation, sir. And we're going on to our third and final entry of the day. All right, you guys, we have got our third and final entry of the day. If you have made it this far, you're the real MVPs, and I appreciate you coming and hanging out with me on a Saturday morning. That being said, let's dig into this build. This one we're looking at here is submitted to us by a gentleman named Brian White. Brian is out of Mountain View, Arkansas, here in the United States. Is that Arkansas? Yeah, I believe that's Arkansas. AR is Arkansas, right? Oh Lord, I'm getting old. Age for this gentleman is 37 years of age. He has been subscribed to ESP for about 1 year now, and he started building RCs back in 2003. Now this project we're looking at right here, he calls this the 2004 Jeep LJ. It is an SCX 10 slash 10.2, so it looks like maybe he's got a combination of parts from both generations on here. And the detail part and paint list goes like this. Woo! Hold on, let me get my breath here. SCX 10.2 frame rails, GCM front motor mount, transfer case, and dual chassis mounted servo bracket. Hot Racing aluminum transmission case with steel internals. Hack Moto 35 turn motor and Castle Mamba, or I don't know if it's Mamba Max or what, but MMP ESC. He's got the Aerotronics MT4 radio, Vanquish 10.2 Curry axles, Deadlock Racing locker, ring, and pinion, and Vanquish knuckles. Mix of stock and custom linked links to get 11-inch wheelbase, RC 4-wheel drive worn winch and winch controller, headlights, taillights, RC ScaleWorks, scale accessories, and toe straps. He says some accessories have been sanded down and painted to squeeze out extra detail. Good job, my man. Van Ord Customs license plate. The body started as a Nico TJ, but I stretched it 2 inches. I'm not a fan of the comp cut look, so opted to stretch the whole tub to get to the LJ length. He says the front bumper is made up of 3/16 inch solid rod and 16 gauge steel. All of the roll cage and tube work is 3/16 solid rod. The rear panels are 22 gauge steel. All the steel was sandblasted, cleaned, and cleared. I couldn't find the color I wanted, so I went straight to clear. I think it turned out pretty amazing, allowing me to showcase my brazing skills, by the way. This was only my second brazing project, he adds. Now, the build classification, obviously a trail truck, and on a scale of 1 to 10, he's going to go ahead and rate this one an 8, which is up there. Now, who would you like to give a shout out to? He says he would like to give a shout out to my stepdaughter. Excuse me. He says, a shout out to my stepdaughter, Kyla, who I actually built this truck for and is pictured below getting her truck for Christmas. My local club, ARCC, Arkansas Radio Control Crawlers, and RC ScaleWars for supporting the club and hobby. Man, woo! That is exactly what I like to see in a submission. Very, very detailed, properly worded part list there. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Big shout out to your daughter as well, and a big shout out to you, sir, for getting your daughter into the hobby and for building her such an awesome rig. Always love to see family getting more family involved. That's what it's all about, if you ask me. Now, man, you guys know what to do. Jump in the comments below. Give your first impression right off the bat. First word that comes to mind. What do you think of when you see this? What is the first thing that popped into your head when you looked at the screen and you saw this build? Me personally, first thing that popped in my head is, ooh-wee, that's clean. I like it, man. I like it. It's super clean, super good looking build. I think you did an outstanding job. I personally have built with this body myself. I have this body and I'm doing a build with it myself. And I have, actually my yellow Jeep is based off of this exact same body. So a lot of folks, I think it's this exact same body. I'm pretty sure it's this exact same. There's a couple of TJs. There's an Eco one and a New Bright one. So I actually think both of mine are based off the New Bright one, which is slightly different, but not much. I think the doors, like right here, how the doors are cut, I think that's part of the difference right there. But I gotta say, sir, you did a great job working with this body. One of the things that's really standing out to me is the fact that you chopped your hood here to open and you got a proper fender setup with really, really, really great bar work here. I mean, just look at that. Normally I'd be like, okay, this looks a little funky having all your braze work there, but I'm not gonna lie, you did a killer job, man. And the fact that you got this all clean like that, and that's even braze there, so these fenders are also metal. Man, good work, sir. I like that. I like that a lot. You did some outstanding work. Scale hardware here looks great. Oh man, that scale hardware looks really good on there. Yes, you just did a great job with this. ESP approved for sure. Really love the combination of everything you got going on here. I think one of the biggest things that's standing out to me is that you made your own shock hoops back here. These shock mounts are just perfect, man. Really, really cool. I love this thing. You guys definitely let me know what you think. Another thing that's really standing out to me are these wheels with the hubs. Looks great. The scale hardware looks great. I wish you had scale hardware in the bead locks as well. I know that, you know, it's, if you're not sure on your tires or you're going to wind up changing out the tires fairly often, that, you know, it sucks to put all that scale hardware in there and then try to take it all back off without ruining it. But man, some scale hardware in those wheels would be like, that would be a nice touch. Can't see if there's disc brakes in there or not, but if there's not, definitely get those added. Another thing I would like to see added on here would be windshield wipers, first off. Also an antenna setup, some form of antenna, whether it be a radio antenna up here, like your regular FM radio antenna, or a big radio for your CB in the front or the rear would also be awesome. Maybe even both would be a really nice touch. Another thing I'd like to see somewhere around here would be a couple accessories, high lift jack and gas can. Absolutely would love to see those on here somewhere, whether it be, you know, the high lift across the hood or mounted in the back somewhere as an accessory. I would just love to see those two things added. It does look like you have some accessories back here, but definitely not enough. I don't think you need to load this down with accessories by any means, but I don't think you would go out in this Jeep in real life without a high lift and without well, you got the cooler, but what else did I say? I said something else. A high lift jack and something else. Oh, and gas can, spare gas. So those are two things I just feel you would have. As far as painting the interior, obviously it's not perfect, but I mean, we're dealing with RC here, and I think you did a pretty dang good job, man. Good choice on the color, and also in real life, the paint and stuff chips on these interiors too, so that is actually fairly scale, man. I think you did a pretty good job there. One of the things I can see where you could have improved would be on your lines. Clearly, you didn't mask any of this off. I probably wouldn't have either, so I'm not hating, but definitely room for improvement as far as that goes. The driver, good job on the driver. I'm guessing that's your daughter there. The steering wheel looks great. I like the little red line on there. Little JDM-ish, if you ask me, but I like it. And good use of an axial steering wheel, too. I can't think of anything else that I would add here, man. This thing's just really good looking. Maybe some speakers, put like some scale speaker pods back here, right, over the fenders. That would be a nice touch, or maybe hanging from the cage. But man, you did a really good job on this build. Look at it. Oh, it looks great. It really does. The only thing I would say is maybe a slightly smaller tire would be better, but these ones look good too. Here we go. Bottom side, looks like you did a great job here covering everything up. MIP in the rear, factory up front. Looks like he's running, oh yeah, he's got the GCM set up, so he's got the axial transmission, I'm guessing, up here somewhere, or GCM transmission or whatever it would be, and then with the motor over on the side here, and then also he's got the factory wild bores for the front two drive shafts, MIP CVD in the rear. I like that you did this. It looks like a scale gas tank back here, just like it should. Very, very nice touch. All the wires are really well hidden and also black when it comes to the back over here. I would like to see these wires, as much as they look great. You did a great job maintaining them, or not maintaining them, but organizing them. I would love to see them inside of some form of sleeve, loom or something. But it looks great, man. Really, really an amazing job. My hat's off to you. Good work, sir. Oh, and also, if you would like to cover these up here, I know it looks good, but getting a top hat, or a hi hat from Holmes Hobbies and putting over the end bell there would be a nice touch, and would blacken everything out, and also would protect that motor there from getting dust up in there. Because I can tell just by looking at that, that's probably a fairly good, fairly high-end brushed motor. So let's see, keep going. Another view of the interior, another view of the side. Good use of the axial hubs in the rear. I like that touch. There we go. Nice. Get off my donkey. I'll say, I like it, man. I like it a lot. Arkansas boys know how to build. My buddy Josh Harris out in Arkansas, he's a good builder as well. Very nice work, sir. A little top view there. You really see all the detail. I like how you painted in the vents up here over the heater core. Good job there. Man, just truly a great build. And there's his daughter. What's her name again? It was Kyla. Shout out to Kyla. Big shout out to Kyla for jumping on here, showing off her new build. I gotta say, Kyla, I am very, very jealous, and I think I'm not alone in saying that I'm jealous. This is one of the best looking Jeeps I've seen in a while, and your dad definitely did a good job building that for you. You have a very, very, very nice build here, and I hope that you take the time to put it out on the trail and really put some miles on it. That being said, you guys know what to do. Jump in the comments below. Give these folks some feedback on this build. What do you think of Kyla's new build? I think it is great. Her dad did an amazing job. Definitely up there on my list. I would have liked to see it all lit up with all the lights on. I can tell that the lights all work, but I would have liked to see it all lit up. I think I touched on the few things that you can improve on. Getting the windshield wipers on there, getting a few more accessories that obviously are relevant, useful accessories. Yeah, that's really it, man. You did a great job with this. That being said, I think we're gonna call it a day, folks. It's been a long episode, a good episode. Let me know what you think of this. Do you like this new format? It's not that much different than how we've been doing it in the past. What do you think of the new sponsors? Definitely got to give a big shout out to Beef Tubes. If you missed last week's episode, go check that one out as well. It was brought to us by Knight Customs, and we went over Toyotas. You guys already know what it is. I'm going to get up out of here. Check out all the links in the description. Definitely jump in the comments. Be a part of the community. Give some feedback. Help some folks out. And you already know what it is. Love you guys. I'm going to get out of here. Piece of chick grease, fam. See you on the trails. Yay!